Hi friends, good evening. In the last session, we have discussed the command line arguments. During the runtime, we can provide input values through the command prompt to the main method, so that the command line inputs are of string type values. For that purpose, main method takes parameter which is of object array of string type. X is just X array. Here X is just the user defined name to indicate the object array of string type. Whatever the values you are giving, which are separated by the spaces, are stored into the command line arguments array X. Starting index is 0. As usual, here array index starts at 0. First input is received in the argument array X of 0. Second input is assigned to the first location in the array X, that is X of 1. Then the next input is assigned to the second location, that is X of 2, etc. So in our case, in the previous example, int a is equal to integer dot parse int of X of 0. In case if you are providing the value 10, when 10 is stored as a string value in X of 0, the integer dot parse int method, which converts from the string 10, this is the string 10, the string 10 is converted into the integer 10. Likewise, when X of 1 is of a string value 20, the string 20 is converted into integer 20. Then X of 2, say string 30, this is converted to the equivalent integer 30. So in this case, if you are write it simply a plus b plus c, what happens? A plus b plus c, integer arithmetic is carried out. The value is 60. Now, how the println statement is executed means, here this is one string value, x of 0 plus x of 1 plus x of 2 is equal to, this is a complete string value, plus a plus b plus c, this is evaluated as 60. Now 60 is the integer value. Now the integer is converted into the equivalent string. So equivalent to string is 60. This is automatically converted. Now these two strings are concatenated using the plus operator. So you can see the message without using, sorry, these two strings are first concatenated using the plus operator 60, which is the actual string. So printing the value of string, excluding the double quotes, I can see the output x of 0 plus x of 1 plus x of 2 is equal to 60. This is the actual output to be produced. And this system.out.println the statement. Likewise, I said to go through these classes: integer, float, double, character. These are some of the predefined classes available in Java's language package. Having any queries in this program? Now let us see how to get keyboard input values. Getting keyboard input values. First, let us see how to read characters from the keyboard. To read the characters from the keyboard efficiently, we can use the character stream classes. For example, we are defining a class key input. For example, key, say key char input. Or user defined class. Then define a main method, static public void main string arguments array, say x array. To read a character from a keyboard, we need to use the character string classes. We have seen reader and writer are the two topmost abstract classes in the character string. Below, we can have several classes. Those are subclasses of reader and writer. One important subclass is the buffered reader class, which is used to read the information from the keyboard in a character-wise or line-wise. Buffered reader, you need to create one object of a buffered reader class. For example, I use the name BROBJ to have the object name of buffered reader. Buffered reader, then object name is equal to new buffered reader of. This is a syntax to be followed in Java. In C and C, sorry, in C++, you might have seen. Let me make the comment. Suppose sample is the class. To create an object, you need to use sample s or sample s1, s2, s3. Array of objects are also to be created. Sample s of 50. This is a style to be followed in C++. Where in Java, you need to use the new operator to allocate a memory. Sample, say yes, obj is equal to new sample, then opening and closing parenthesis. What is this opening and closing parenthesis? What can you say?
Function.
Function. What is the exact function name?
Sir, void return type for the function.
No, what is here? No, he says this is a function, right? Okay. Here the function name.
The
Constructor.
function without argument, without argument.
Yeah, without argument. Simply this is a constructor. Very good. So class name, a class name is here this one sample. Object name is this one. This is equal to new sample, or even this is a two-step process. Later we explore in objects and classes. So as of now, no problem. Just learn sample SOBJ. Then in the next line we can allocate a memory. SOBJ is equal to new sample of constructor name. Here SOBJ is simply a reference variable. It's simply a reference variable. Here SOBJ allocates memory. That means SOBJ acts as an object. So in Java, object creation is a two-step process. In the first step, you need to create a reference variable. Then the second step, the reference variable should be allocated a memory using the new operator. Otherwise, we can combine the two steps into a single one by having this format. Class name, object name is equal to new class name. Then a constructor array parameter value. Sample SOBJ is equal to new sample, right? This is a style in Java. This is in C++. Now having our class a buffered reader, in Java, all predefined classes starts with the character alphabet, right? Caps alphabet. So capital letter. In case if the class consists of more than one words, all the first character in the subsequent words are capitalized. This is a naming convention followed for all the predefined classes. In case you can also follow that for your user defined class, for example, key char input, key C, K, C, I, these are made as capital letters, just a convention. So buffered reader, this is an object name is equal to new buffered reader of, and now what we have to do means we need to link the input stream object to the buffered reader object. To link the input stream, standard input stream, that is keyboard, to the buffered reader object, you need to create one parameter value of the buffered reader constructor. That buffered reader constructor is the instance of input stream reader class. Instance, that means new of something that acts as an instance, allocating a memory. So buffered reader BROBJ is equal to new buffered reader of new input stream reader. What is input stream reader? Have a look into ISR, capital letters. A predefined class which is defined in Java's IO package. Input stream reader class comes under a category. Which one? Byte stream or character stream?
Character string.
Character stream. So in general, reader and reader are character stream classes. So below that, input stream reader. The purpose of input stream reader is converting the byte information into the character information, because we do like to process in terms of characters. That is the purpose of buffered reader class. Converting the byte information into characters, we need to use the input stream reader class. Now that instance, say one object of input stream reader is passed as a parameter to the buffered readers constructor. So new input stream reader of, now input stream reader, this is the class. In general, class name followed by opening and closing parenthesis acts as a constructor. Now the input stream reader constructor should pass the input stream object. Input stream object is, what is our input stream object? What is
System.in.
System.in.
Yeah,
.in.
in is a static variable defined in the static class, system class as a static variable. So it can be accessed using the class name system.in. So new input stream reader of system.in. Now you need to close. Now what happens? Input stream reader of system.in means you are converting from byte information to character information, and you are creating the input stream object system.in that is linked to the buffered reader class object, say brobj. You can name any name here, right? This is just a user defined name. B object, br obj1, whatever is, because these are user defined entities. Objects are user defined entities.
Sir, we
Now
also use scanner instead of.
yes.
Sir, we also use scanner method instead of buffered reader. What is the difference?
Yeah, I explained later, right? Using the scanner class, because several methods are several classes, several methods are there. We can apply any of these to read input characters from the keyboard. This is one possible and the standard way. I explained later, right? The scanner class, that is also possible. Buffered reader brobj is equal to new buffered reader of new input stream reader of system.in. Now let us input the characters using for loop. For example, char ch integer a is defined to system.out.println. Please enter the characters. Say a is equal to brobj dot read. System.out.println a is equal to plus a. The value of a is printed here. How long we have to process the while loop, or while a not equal to, for example, I use the character red, while a not is a, while a is not equal to the character red. Then I am closing the main method and closing the class tchar input. Now you need to understand the one important method of buffered reader class is read method. Read method takes this general form. Int read throws IO exception. Exception means runtime error. In Java, most of the methods are throwing the runtime error. In such a case, there are two kinds of exceptions. In general, there are two kinds of exceptions, runtime errors in Java, right? One is a checked exception and another one is unchecked exception. In case of checked exception, whenever a method throws the runtime error means that stage, the corresponding exception name must be mentioned in the throws class of method declaration. This is a rule. So later we are going to explore in exception handling framework how to handle the user-defined exceptions and how to handle the checked and unchecked exceptions. There is a predefined exceptions. So as of now, just think of read is a method which is defined in the buffered reader class. The read method returns an integer value equivalent of the character that you are going to read. In case when end of the string is reached, the read method returns a value -1, which indicates that the end of string is reached. So the general form of a read method throws a runtime error IO exception. Now the caller of the method is a main method. Since the main is called from the operating system, in that stage, the method read throws IO exception runtime error. So in all cases, in case if any of the method in Java, predefined method in Java, throws some exception means this exception name must be mentioned in the same throws class of method definition or method declaration here. Here method definition is main one, so you must specify the throws IO exception. Another thing is in the previous example, we have used the simple coding. We have accessed Java's predefined package, lang package, that is automatically imported in all applications. Here explicitly we have accessed the buffered reader class. Buffered reader class, this is defined in Java's Java's input output package. We need to import the corresponding package. So also specify this import statement. Import also we use import java dot io dot. We can specify the class name alone, say buffered reader, or if you include star means the entire classes interfaces available in IO package are going to be imported into this application so that you can access any predefined features from Java's IO package. Let us save the file. This is first keychar input Java. Save as colon CSE208 Java all files keychar input.java. File has been saved. Now entering into the F drive cls cd CSE208 Java. Java C file name keychar input.java. Control C, Control V. File has been compiled successfully. Now we are running the program Java. Control V keychar input. Press enter. Please enter the characters. For example, hi, how are you? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then to terminate reading from the standard input stream, we are using the character at. Then pressing enter, you can see the first character. What is the first character? H. The ASCII value is 104 because the structure of read method is read returns the integer equivalent of the character that is going to be that is read from the actual standard input device. So the input stream reader class transforms your byte input into characters. Only one character is read at a time from the standard input device. So giving the information in terms of byte, for example, in a single line input, first only one character, this variable a reads the first character. First character is h. The equivalent ASCII value is 104. Then I, second character, 105. Then space, blank space, ASCII value is 32, that you know, right? Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, starting from a 49, right? Because 0 is, ASCII value of 0 is 48. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53. Then at the ASCII value is 64. So after at, no more characters are accepted. For example, in the second run, we are providing the input values hi, good, 1, 2, 3 at, then I am giving the values A, B, C, D. You can see the message. Hi God dot dot 1, 2, 3 at last value, last character red is A is equal to 64. After that, we have provided some input values A, B, C, D. A, B, C, D are skipped because while the character that you are going to read from the keyboard should not be equal to at. When A not equal to at, control again enters into the while loop. When A is equal to at means what happens? The character that you read is at, control becomes false. Then it comes out of do while. This is one possible way to read characters from the keyboard, and the characters are automatically processed using the integer variable int read through SIVO exception. So here I have used the variable int a. A is equal to brobj dot read. In case I do want to use character variable here, I have commented on the previous line. Don't confuse. Character ch is equal to brobj dot read, then parameter list. In this case, I do want to print the value of ch because a is not used. Ch is equal to ch. Instead of ASCII values of characters, we are directly printing the character itself. Character ch is equal to brobj dot read. Now carefully look into the built-in nature of a read method. Read method returns an integer value for the character which is going to be read from the standard input device. That's what here the return type is an integer one, int read. Understand? Now, for example, if it reads a character A, then the integer value is actually read from the standard input device. Now what happens that integer values should be converted into the equivalent character one. For that we need to perform casting operation in C, even in C++. You might have seen casting, type casting. For example, int x is equal to, here you can use int of 4.56. What happens? 4.56 is actually a floating point quantity. You are typecasting it into the integer type. Even you can use int of 4.56. Fractional part is lost. Only the integer part is assigned to the left-hand side variable. So in the same way, here you can use char ch is equal to type. Am I right? Sorry. But you have to use char of brobj dot read, so that the integer value is converted into the equivalent character, and character is directly assigned to the left hand side variable as character ch. Char ch, sorry, which has been already deployed. So you have to use the ch is equal to char of brobj dot read while a not equal to at. Let me save the program. Compile and run it. You can use the arrow keys, DOS keys, because the commands are already executed. While A not equal to, what is A?
Sir,
Sorry,
we have to change it as CH, sir.
Yes.
yeah, A should be changed to CH. Good. Then you can easily track the errors, right? And resolve the errors. Then arrow keys, Java keychar input. For example, I give the values 1, 2, 3, 5. But you can see the characters ch1, 1, 2, 3, h, I, lost character, red is at. Understand or not? This is one possible way to read the characters from the standard input device keyboard. You
So
can
once can you
record
explain about the read functions?
read function, very good. Read is a method which is defined in the predefined class buffered reader. First understand this. Read is a method which is defined in the predefined class buffered reader, which is a character string class of Java's IO package. The general form of a read method is in Java, the important thing that you have to learn is everything is right predefined one. Mostly whatever the code or whatever the project that we are going to develop, we can easily develop it from the existing methods, existing or predefined facilities. So you need to learn what are all the predefined methods available and what type of return value it takes, what type of parameters it takes, complete type signature. That means this one. Return type, method name, parameter list, then exception name, everything that you have to understand clearly. So this read method is defined in buffered reader class. Read method general form is this one, int read throws IO exception. More about exception handling we will discuss later. So as of now, in case if you have any built-in methods which are throwing some kind of runtime error means, what you have to do means you simply here, for example, read method is introduced here. This is introduced in this method. So in this method, you must specify this exception name throws IO exception. Another thing, read method returns an integer value, right? So whatever the character that you are reading from the keyboard, the equivalent integer value is returned. That's what in the previous logic here we use left hand side integer variable. In case if you want to again convert this into the equivalent character means, explicitly you must perform the typecasting like this char of brobj.read or even brobj.read, maybe put in the parenthesis, extra parenthesis, unnecessary one. You can remove this, not necessary. So the character equivalent integer value is converted into the again character. Character is stored into the variable. Left hand side variable ch. That's all. Any queries? Okay. Next we are going to see how to read the line of text from the keyboard.
Sir,
Hmm.
sir, once
Yes.
explain that buffered reader, sir. Buffered reader.
Buffered reader, this is a predefined class available in Java's IO package. Buffered reader comes under a category of character string class. Buffered reader class provides several methods to perform input operations. For example, one method is read, another one is read line method. Several overloaded versions are there, right? You try to check it. To this class, you need to create an object. So to create an object, you need to use the new operator. Buffered reader object name is equal to new buffered reader of, then this buffered reader object should be linked with the standard input device. Standard input device is keyboard. So to link the standard input device to this object, what you have to do means here you need to create one instantiation of input stream reader, because this input stream reader is a class which is a subclass of a reader class, again available in the character stream category. To this class, you need to pass the constructor value of input stream object. Input stream object is system.in. So the new input stream reader of system.in, which is equivalent to one instance of a input stream reader class, that is passed as a parameter to the buffered reader constructor, so that the object brobj can have the rights to access the corresponding read or read line methods. Then the object is linked with the corresponding input stream. then it can have the rights to read characters from the standard input device.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Now let me modify the same code so that just to see how to read a line of text from the keyboard. I am modifying the same code key, for example, line input, character ch. Instead of character ch, I like to change it into string, for example, yes. NPA not necessary. I remove this one. Please enter the lines of text. Reading multiple lines of text. I am removing this. We are learning a new method that is read line method. S is equal to probj dot read line. Second important convention in Java regarding method names. Whenever a method takes more than one words, the first character in all the subsequent words are capitalized. First character in the method is a small one. Lowercase character, read, lowercase letter. Read line, second word in which the first character is capitalized. For example, array index out of bounds exception, right? Array index out of bounds exception, that is the class name. Array index out of bounds exception. All first characters in the subsequent words are capitalized. Here read line, you can say parse int, p is a small letter, int, I is a capital letter. So this conversion is to be followed in the predefined methods. Now the second method that you have to learn is this one. I type here string, method name is read line, parameter list is empty. This also throws IO exception. The difference is read reads a single character, the equivalent integer is returned. A read line reads a line of text which is in the form of string. String means right a character array. This method also throws IO exception. So in this case, using the buffered reader class object PROBJ, we are directly accessing the method name read line. So S is equal to BROBJ dot read line. Here, this is a read line. This is the method name. We are outputting the value of S. For example, S is equal to then plus S. If not, if you put directly S, the value of S is output. While we are controlling through a do while S equals is the method, right, which is defined in the string class. For example, I like to give terminate, terminate, terminate. Putting the negation s dot equals a terminator, right? Then so the value equals is the method which is defined in the string class. Later we explore string and the string buffer classes. So equals equals a static method using the object name. Sorry, equals is a method name of a string class accessed using the object name. S dot equals the parameter is a terminator we are giving. So if the value is equal to terminator, right, what happens? It will not accept some more or further input from the keyboard. Let us save the file as class key line input dot java. Same import java.io.star to be used. Because of read line throws IO exception, you must mention the corresponding method in which read line is used. That is main method must specify or throws IO exception name. File, save as all files, key line input dot java. Clear screen, Java C key line input dot Java. What is the error message? While s dot equals terminate opening parenthesis closing parenthesis parameter of the equals method. For while opening you need to put one more closing parenthesis. File has been saved. Recompiling. Java key line input. Please enter the lines of text. For example, India, x is equal to India, Canada, New York. I am very fine. What is the termination? Good. To terminate, you need to specify when s dot equals to terminate. What is this not? What is the function of not?
Negation.
Negation. Very good. So if the value is not equal to terminate, then it again enters into the do while. Then it is equal to terminate, while condition becomes false. So here we are giving terminate, terminate, press enter, s is equal to terminate. That's all. The value of s is printed. Then what happens? Control comes out of a do while. This is one possible way to read lines of text. In case if you want to read multiple lines of text and which are going to be stored in the string array, here what you have to do means you have to create the string object array. For example, the string s array is equal to, let me write here, string s array is equal to new string of 50. This is a way to create an array. Okay, let's see later, right, how to define arrays in Java. Here the first index to be used is s of 0, next index is s of 1, next one is second index s of 2, etc. The last index is 49, s of 49. So having the statement string sr is equal to new string of 50 here in this place, in do while, instead of s, what you have to do means we can use s of I, provided the variable I has been set as integer 1 and set I is equal to 0. Then after that you try to increment the value of I by 1, I plus plus, so that some 50 lines of text can be assigned to the corresponding object array of a string type. So just to have the basics of this keyboard input values. But Java is the internet programming language. The goal of Java's designers was to create the platform independence and to use the nature in some internet-oriented applications. So that stage, Java designers felt that not that much importance is required in handling input-output operations, because Java was not designed to provide keyboard input values, perform some calculations similar to C and C++ language. That is not the goal. However, some flexible way of handling input-output operations are also provided in some of the classes in byte stream and character stream classes. Other than that, as you said, right, scanner class and some other classes are also available in byte stream category. Using that, we can perform a keyboard input and output operations. So more about IO package, we discuss later, right, in the second unit. So as of now, just to have an idea how to get the keyboard input values. So in case if you want to convert the keyboard input string integer string into equivalent integer means, here you need to use the same line. For example, s is equal to b obj dot read line. This should be changed to, if you are providing input values. For example, here we have provided hi, how are you, Canada, New York, something. string values. In case if you are providing 200, 500, 300, line by line input, those are string values. Absolutely. To convert the string into equivalent integer 1, left hand side is, for example, int x or into some IA. This is equal to. Here, what you have to do, as we have seen in the last class, integer dot
Parseint.
yeah, integer dot parse int br obj dot readline. Now, what it happens, it accepts the string input from the keyboard. Don't worry, I demonstrate this here. Int a is equal to integer dot parse int br obj dot readline. Here I am writing system dot out dot println a is equal to plus a. This is a style, right? Normally, if you want to write, suppose a is equal to 100. In C++, C out in double quotes a, then less than the variable a. Where in Java, the strings are to be concatenated using the concatenation operator, plus operator. So you need to write this style this way: a is equal to string plus the actual integer variable. Here integer variable a, right? Value of integer variable a is converted into a string one. Then these two strings are concatenated using the plus operator, and the output looks like a is equal to 100. Save the file, decompile it. What happens? A, do we have already used?
You did not
Class?
declare A, sir.
No. Here do while. After class, right? I used it, right? I forgot. Control X. These two statements will be given following the do while as a part of a class, right? As a part of a main method. That is important. Recompiling. Okay. Then where is Java key line input? Java key line input. Enter the lines of text. Say 1, 2, 3, 2, 3. Let me terminate. Then what it reads? Now it tries to get the keyboard input integer. Keyboard input simply. That is a role of brobj dot readline. Now, whatever the input you are giving, that input is converted into the integer one, provided that input should be parsed into integer. That means if you provide, for example, 12,500, 12,500 is actually retrieved as a string input in double quotes. The 12,500, this can be converted into the equivalent integer 12,500. So no problem. A is equal to 12,500. In case I am rerunning it here, for example, terminate. I do like to input for this results in exception. Exception means runtime error. So for this keyboard input, brobj.readline, I am trying to give one input string, that is this results in an exception. When this results in an exception as the string value is passed here, that string cannot be parsed into the equivalent integer. That stage, Java interpreter reports runtime error. Of course, we are seeing the first runtime error. The runtime error is exception in thread. Thread means, right, the code program. In which program, right, in which method, main method, java.lang. Exception name, that is the error name raised is number format exception. If you write 5,000 in double quotes, that can be parsed into integer 5,000. If you write a string value cannot be converted into the equivalent number. So for input string, this results in exception. So this is the runtime error message. Understand or not? So likewise, you try to use a float dot parse float, then a double dot parse double. These are the methods which can be used to convert from integer float double into the equivalent numerical quantity. Having any queries in this? If you have any queries, you can ask. Otherwise, we move on to the next topic. Then we continue right to the variables. Variable is a quantity whose value changes during the execution of the program. Syntax is type. Type
Sir,
means
can you
data
say
type. Yes.
why do we use that IO exception, sir?
Why do we use
IO exception.
IO exception? That's what I say. Methods in Java are designed in such a way that in case if the incorrect inputs are given, right? So that stage, what will happen means the method throws exception. Exception means runtime error. Of course, you can take this as the best example. In the last run, what we have provided means this results in exception. We have provided this value. What is this, sir? This is one string value. The string value cannot be converted into the equivalent integer one. So providing some incorrect input values, when incorrect inputs are processed using that method, that stage what will happen means Java reports runtime error. Java reports runtime error. So there are some checked runtime errors available, checked exceptions. All of the checked exceptions must be mentioned in the throws class of method declaration. Throws class of method declaration. Of course, string readline throws IO exception. That's what here this method is introduced inside the main method. So in mains method declaration, here you must specify the checked exception names. In case when multiple exceptions are thrown inside the main method means or inside the method means that should be separated by the comma operator. Say throws IO exception, comma some X exception, Y exception, Z exception. Like that, exception classes must be mentioned in the throws class. Class means CLAUSE, right? Phrase in the throws a phrase of method declaration. Okay.
Okay, sir.
And next right is
Sir, can it convert to sir?
yes.
Sir, can it convert to ASCII value, sir? Then instead of that integer.
Which one? Read or read line?
No, sir. This is exception. You wrote that line, no, sir. For that, can it convert into ASCII value, sir?
No, that provision is not actually designed by the Java's developers, because if you say this results in the confusing exception, right? Some string value. What is the purpose of converting the individual characters into ASCII values? There is no such need. That's what the designers right felt that simply whenever the method throws that exception, that simply halts, terminates the program execution. No such need is required.
Yes, sir.
Next, right, we are continuing from the topic where we left in the
Sir,
previous class. Yes.
sir, actually, when you are writing char ch and when you are giving the input, sir, actually char ch means it should read only one character, no, sir. But
Yeah.
if you are giving, even if you are giving a line of text, it is able to read and it is able to produce the output. And it is like, suppose if I'm giving hi, sir, when you are giving char ch and you're providing bro bj dot read, sir. And when I'm giving some line of text, it is able to read total line of text, no, sir. But actually, ch should only store one character, no, sir. Then
Yeah.
how it is then how it
See,
is looping, sir.
actually, your input stream, whatever you are giving the input values are stored in the buffer. For example, hi, how are you at? Up to that, entire input characters are stored in the buffer. Actually, the method reads one character at a time. For example, hi, how are you at? In that h, only one character is going to be read. So only the character ch first assigns a value h. Then in the next iteration, it reads the next character I, then space, then h, like that it goes. Any other queries?
Sir, in that text will be stored in which one, sir? Means, in which variable it will be stored, sir?
Which one? Could not
The
get you.
text which we are providing should be stored in some variable, no, sir?
That is normally stored in the system buffer, from which, right, you are giving some input value. See, even this is possible in C and C++ languages. You can provide multiple lines of some text, right, even in the same line, right? In the same line, you can provide multiple input values. For example, 10 space, 20 space, 30. Next, if you are using C and write A, and the variable A receives a value 10. Then in the next line, if you use C in greater than B, already you have provided the value. So 10 space, 20 space, 30. So 20, 30, right? Those are stored in the buffer. From that, right, the next input is taken. Same thing in Java. Okay, I continue the variables part. Variable declaration, type variable list. You can declare multiple variables into a comma b comma c. You can initialize the values. C is equal to 12. Uh, the important feature in Java is dynamic initialization of variables. Dynamic initialization of variables. Variables can be dynamically initialized similar to C++. Wherever you need, you can declare and initialize a variable. For example, here, right, in case inside the do while, assuming that one local variable is required, here you can initialize int x is equal to. That is a dynamic initialization. Or character ch is equal to y. Wherever you want, you can declare and initialize the variable. But this is not like a C language. In C language, whatever the variables you want to use inside the main method, uh, that must be declared at the beginning of the main method, beginning of the main function, right? So that rule is not supported, right? Even in C++ and the Java languages, the free-form language. So dynamically, wherever required, we can declare and initialize the variable. That is possible. Another important thing that you have to learn in Java is scope and lifetime of variables. Similar to the C and C++ languages. Scope, in which region the variable is declared, right? That determines the scope. The active region in which the variable is going to be accessed. Lifetime in the sense that longevity, how long a variable retains its value. For example, in the for loop, for int I is equal to 0, I less than 10, I plus plus. Here defining one variable float x is equal to 2.5 f. Then having some float x is equal to, sorry, having some statements. Here you are updating the variable somewhere here. X is equal to x plus some 2.7 f something. So in that case, what happens? Whenever the control enters into the for loop, x is initialized to 2.5. Longevity in the sense that when the program lines are executed in the sequential order, for example, up to this statement, the variable x is unaltered. It takes the value 2.5. After the execution of x is equal to x plus 2.7f, the variable's value 2.5 is lost and updated value is taken. Again, for the next value of I, the variable x is reinitialized to 2.5. Then up to this, the variable x retains its value, then it loses its value. So how long a variable retains its value during the execution is said to be the lifetime of a variable. Then with respect to a code block or blocks of code code blocks. Similar to C++, we can define any number of code blocks. This is code block 1. Then we can start another code block. This is code block 2. Then we can define another code block. Code block 3. Let us close code block 3. For example, here code block 3 here, having some statements here. Code block 3 is closed. Then having some statements, assume code block 2 is closed here. Then having some statements, code block 1 is closed here. This is not a new concept, it's similar to C++. Only thing is, here in the code block here, if you declare a variable byte b, this is outer code block variable. So block 1 accesses the variable b. Block 2 and block 3 can also access the byte variable b, because this is outer variable. In case in code block 1, if we introduce a variable int to say x, the code block variable, block 1 variable is integer x. This is defined inside the block 2 and inside block 3. That is possible. So inside block 3, for example, here you defined float f. Float f can be accessible only within this region, opening and closing curly braces, because this defines the scope of a variable f. You cannot access the variable outside the scope of block 2. For example, here outside the scope of block 3, actually, right? This is block 3. Block 3 variable is f. Outside the scope of block 3, for example, here block 2, you cannot access the variable f. Understand or not? Outer block variables, simply saying outer block variables are accessed inside the inner block. Inner block variables cannot be accessible in the outer blocks. Remember that same thing is supported in C language structures, right? We can access outer structure variable inside the inner structure, where inner structure cannot be accessed in outer structure. Same concepts in a C++ functions. Another thing in terms of variable declaration, understand here, this is method 1 m, in which you are defining one variable, say here int x. I am using another block here. If I write again int x, closing this method m, in this case what happens? Here you are declared one integer variable x in the outer scope. This is in the outer scope. You are trying to redeclare the same variable but in inner scope. This is not allowed in Java. Compiler will report the variable x has already been declared. Variable x has already been declared. This results in compile time error. Understand or not? Same variable cannot be declared in the nested scope. This is the inner scope. This is the outer scope. Simply, this highlighted code block defines the nested scope. Outer scope defines one variable x. Inner scope tries to redefine the variable x. This is not acceptable in Java, wherein C++ and C languages, this is perfectly valid. There you can use C++, in C++, you can also use the scope resolution operator inside the inner scope to actually access the value of outer scope. Understand or not? Having any queries?
Sir, declaration is not possible inside the another block, sir. But we can change the value now, sir.
Declaration is possible. Only thing is you cannot redeclare the variable that has already been declared in the outer scope. For example, instead of int x, if you declare int y, there will be no problem. Int a, no error, because a has not already been declared in the outer scope. This is a very important thing that you have to learn in Java.
Okay,
One
sir. Sir,
important
can we change the x value inside the middle of the scope? Example, int x in this second time you have redeclared now, sir. Instead of redeclaring, we can assign as x is equal to 6 or 5, like that any number you can assign.
that is possible, because here say int x is equal to 25. This is the outer scope. Outer block variable can be accessible anywhere within the inner scope. Here you can redefine the value of x. X is equal to x plus 1. This is perfectly valid. Outer scope variable, right? Outer block variable can be accessible anywhere within the inner scope. But the reverse is not true. Inner scope
Yes,
variable
understood.
cannot be accessible in the outer scope. But one thing from C++ to Java is, in case of variable declaration, this is the important difference with respect to code block. Having any other queries?
Sir, how can we store multiple lines of string in one variable, sir?
Multiple lines of string in one variable. Good question. Because in Java, multiple lines of string. Simply write string means collection of characters. As here seen, hi, how are you? Collection of more than one characters, which are stored in the string array, because string is a built-in class which stores the collection of characters. So that's what I say. If you introduce, for example, arrays concept, string s is equal to new string of 50. You can write s of 0, s of 0. Even you can assign here, hi, how are you? Semicolon. Because anything that is enclosed within double quotes is defined as a dash constant, string constant, right? So this is equivalent to the value of s of 0. Then you can define s of 1. S of 1 is equal to I something. More than one characters are completely assigned into the left hand side variable if and only if the left hand side variable is of string type that is valid or possible in Java, because the class string which implements the array of characters to hold multiple characters.
For example, in C++, we'll be using cin.getLine of the size of the character, and some that we will be using cin.getLine for entering multiple characters. Like the same way, how should we do it in Java?
So you are asking how to enter multiple lines of text. Am I right?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Multiple lines of text. You try to
Yes, sir.
input right string, for example, string s is equal to something, s dot read line, b buffered reader object dot read line. It accepts a single line of text. If you press enter, what happens? Your input is terminated. Up to that, the characters are going to be stored in the left hand side variable. Okay, I check and tell you. Maybe some methods will be available in the IO package. I check and tell you how to read multiple lines of text.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Any other queries? Next topic is
And in strings, sir,
yeah. Yes, tell me.
sir, in suppose in C++, if you are saying string ch, sir, and if you are writing some high, so for accessing the h value in it, we'll be writing ch of 0, no, sir. Can we do the same in this string, sir?
A string, right? Yeah, that is possible because strings are a collection of characters. As we discussed, there is that example. S of 0 is equal to hi, how are you? Right? This can be accessible using the index value. Later, we explore the various methods of string class. Just now, or now itself, we can go through the methods of string class. S of 0 dot char at CHER method. So first character is sure, lowercase letter, char at the second row. The first character is the capital one, char at of 0. You try to use this form. S of 0 dot char at of 0. Char at of 0 means the character at 0th index. H is retrieved. S of 0 dot char at of 1. I is retrieved. Char at of 2. This blank space is retrieved. So that several methods are there to process the strings. Even in our example, we have used one method called equals, right? So equals method. In C and C++, you need to use strcmp function. Here that is equivalent to the equals method. Directly it checks if the given string is equivalent to the terminate or not. Invoking object string is equal to this terminate. So likewise, several methods are there, right? You can go through this caret method so that you can retrieve or access or set, right, a particular character in the given string. Similar to C++ conventional notation. CH of 0 is this one, CH of 1 is this one. Same facility is provided here.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
The next topic that we are going to explore is automatic type conversions. Automatic type conversions in Java. Shall I continue for a few minutes or 10 to 15 minutes? Hope you are free this hour, right? How many of you are live? 40 of you. Okay. Are you all free this period? Or shall we continue in the next session? No responses from you. Shall we wind up?
Next session, sir.
Okay, sure, no problem. So in the meantime, right, I try to give you no problem. You try to go through the today's session, right? In today's session, we have discussed the topics, how to get the command line inputs, as we have discussed in the previous session. Command line inputs, processing command line inputs in terms of integer variables, floating point variables, double variables. You please go through the classes available in the lang package, integer, float, double. And then you try to go through the buffered reader class, read and read line methods. Read and read line methods. How to read character by character and how to read the corresponding characters integer value, typecasting it into the equivalent character one, reading lines of text, reading multiple lines of text using the object array of a string class. String SRA is equal to something new string of 50, right? And then you try to go through these concepts: variables, variable declarations, dynamic initialization of variables, scope and lifetime of variables, uh, how variables can be declared in inner block and outer block, the basic difference between C++ to Java. Once a variable has been declared in the outer scope, the same variable should not be declared in any of its inner scopes, right? This rule. You try to write, go through these things. I give you, meanwhile, right? I give you some programs. You try to solve the problems, right? Programs try to solve the given problems. Then, if you have any other queries, you can ask that, or you can ask
So
me
try to
in the
sir, so try to keep this notepad in the Google Classroom.
Yeah, yesterday also I shared the notepad content. If not, I try
Yes,
to
yes.
directly put the direct text file. You try to go through that. And if you have any other queries, you can ask me right through the WhatsApp. I will resolve your queries. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.